So, what if your thoughts were more than random? What if they were the switchboard for your energy, your health, and your future? So, today's guest says that your thought life is either healing you or holding you back, and she is here to show us how to reset it. Welcome to the Life Lounge podcast. This is your front row seat to everything happening inside Life Network. I am your host, Karie Johnson, and each week we bring you top voices, transformational brands, and insider updates that you don't want to miss. This is where self-transformation meets community, because when we grow together, we go farther. So let's dive in. So today's guest, Lea Llovio, is a conscious wellness and thought leader. She's globally sought after as a speaker and a consultant to world leaders, top doctors, and high performers. She helps change makers eliminate internal blocks, master their thoughts, and integrate mindset into evidence-based longevity protocols. Specializing in the dance between quantum energy, mindset, and wellness optimization, Lea empowers the leaders to accelerate healing, optimize wellness, and elevate every dimension of performance. She is known as the guru's guru and the doc whisperer, as she calls her approach living the blessing way. Her mission is to empower those who heal and lead to serve from their highest frequency. Welcome to the Life Lounge, Lea.
Hi, Karie. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here. As I mentioned earlier, you and I met at HOS in Austin.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing when you live from an open heart and you just constantly run into people with those same open hearts. And so we, finally get together here today and share from our open hearts and hopefully plant a few seeds of healing, always coming to each situation with the hope and desire to serve in some way so that we each get to plant our little seed and hopefully that seed gets sprouted all over the place and we can help people heal one person at a time, one word
I
at a
love that.
time, one podcast at a time,
That's
one
right.
conference at a time. Every
Yeah.
day is the blessing opportunity to serve.
I love that. Oh my gosh, amen to that. That's a mic drop moment right there. Because I love how you call it living the blessing way. Because, and it is sometimes when people are like, well, there's nothing I can do, to help, the world or all of these people. And like you said, it's just planting the seed every single day. These little things that we do, like these things that we're learning about, podcasts that we're on, or different things like that. It's just little seeds. And you never know, it could be just that one little nugget that somebody needs to hear. So good.
Absolutely. The I call anyone in the healing modalities, anyone who's here to help people heal. I work with a lot of doctors, and I always call them the angels on earth.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like there are angels, and there's so many ways to be of service to the world. But anyone who chooses to elevate how people heal, to give them resources, to give them tools, you really are an angel on the planet.
I
We're
know.
here to be of service and to help heal the world, and I think that's what how you are a part-time angel.
Yeah, it's so true. And it's, yeah, you and I both have the blessing to be able to connect with these amazing doctors and healers. And yeah, so, and that's what I love to do, is just kind of continue to shine the light and spotlight these amazing people in the world that are doing incredible work. And yeah, same thing for me too, though. When I met you in Austin, I knew, you just have this incredible soul, just incredibly grounded, very clear and intentional. Like you had a very strong purpose that I just felt like very drawn to. And we just had, short, kind of probably 15-minute conversation. And you are continuing just to do so much in the health and wellness space, always out there learning and growing and, connecting people together and helping it seem from like a very chaotic, or there's so much noise out there and confusion, that you kind of cut through all of that and really helping to reset thoughts for people is what I've really noticed about you. Realign our energy and just to help us live more with freedom. So thank you for doing that, because that's no small feat.
Oh, well, thank you for noticing, and again, we go back to that place when we really open ourselves up and we really decide that we have a mission, that we do have power, that we can help people heal. We again run into those people either that need what we have to offer them, or the people that will join us and amplify the healing messages that we're sending into the world. And I love that you talked about the noise because, one of the things that we all have to work on is figuring out how to manage the noise, you know? Because the noise can be either helping us heal or it can really interfere with the healing. And understanding where does that noise come from, right? The noise, it's always going to come either from the inside or the outside. And many times it starts on the outside, right? Depending on what your circumstances in life have been, how you were brought up, the messages you were given. First, you get all of that external noise, and actually one of my teachers used to call it domestication.
Mm,
He would
that makes
say,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, he would say we get domesticated just like doggies, right? We are, taught, like, this is right, this is wrong, and some of those things are wonderful because they help us be good members of society, right? And sort of be able to play nice with everyone, but some of the messages can be detrimental to other people. Yes, and then that's where the thought processes come in and the noise, maybe the noise that is more toxic, and our job is to distinguish which thoughts are the thoughts that can actually accelerate our healing and which are the thoughts that create unnecessary noise that become the interference to the healing process and to really living the life that you are meant to be, because we all have a purpose here, right? Again, our beautiful seeds of healing to plant.
Hmm. Oh, I love that. So where did that initially spark for you, Leah, to kind of was there some type of like health crisis or adversity or just like where that was just cracked open for you to kind of start in this arena?
Yeah, so when I was growing up, I was blessed to grow up amongst a lot of chaos, and I call that a blessing in a good way because I grew up in Los Angeles, and I call Los Angeles the city of angels. So we have a lot of diversity. We've got Hollywood, we've got gangs, we've got wonderful people doing extraordinary things, philanthropists and people helping the world. And then we've got people doing crazy things as well. And so the blessing for me is that I had exposure to many cultures, many types of beliefs, many types of lifestyles. And what I learned in living amongst the chaos is that humans are humans. And ultimately, deep within them, there is just a desire, no matter what's going on in their life or how we may see them, their true desire is to just have a good life, love their family, be able to provide for their family, and be healthy. And so for me, as I experienced this chaos, I was always an empathetic person.
Interesting.
And I naturally could be what some would call a healer or a spiritual guide. I don't particularly like to title myself, but many times, even doctors, nurses, practitioners, anyone in the healing modalities, most of the time they are natural empaths. And when you are very empathetic, you must learn to manage this energy. Because what can happen, which I know we've all seen this, is sometimes the healers are the ones that are falling apart.
I know. It's so sad.
Be
It's true.
Yes, because they are just taking on the sadness of the world or the suffering of their patients or their clients, and I, like anyone else who was in the healing modalities, I was empathetic, and I didn't know how to manage everything I was seeing. When you are a counselor or a guide of any kind, you hear a lot of things, you see a lot of things, and our job as those who are here to serve and help people heal is to learn to be resilient and to learn to manage being able to see all of the chaos in the world and not let it tear us down, because then we can't serve, right?
Amen. Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
I love how you said it's your job to do that because it's true. It's like you put your oxygen mask on first, right? That they always say, so you can help other people. Like you have to learn how to, you have those boundaries or ways to process it without it just overcoming, because then you can't serve the people that you were put on earth to serve. So is that something that you learned the hard way? And like, what do you do now to kind of manage that?
Yes, absolutely. I did learn the hard way because I did take on, the energies or the sadness or, there's even a, Buddhist meditation that encourages that, right? But we are human beings in the city, right? We
Yes.
are yes, we are not, Buddhist monks in a
Living in a
temple.
silent area. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Different
So
world.
yeah, so they're choosing to do this, and they really don't have much stress other than that, and they choose to take on the suffering, and that's like their healing meditation. But for us in the city, like, we've got chaos coming at us all day long.
All day long.
Most people do, right?
And in our phones in front of us all day long.
Yes, in our phones, in the media, we're being invited to eat toxins by the billboards all day long. So, yeah, so for me, yes, it was taxing and it was draining, and I had to learn how to regulate my own energy. And I did. I was very blessed that I had wonderful teachers at a very young age that really taught me how to stay compassionate,
Okay.
stay empathetic, but not take on the suffering of others. And how did that happen? How did I
Yeah.
learn that? Well,
Yeah.
I will
Tell us.
tell yes, this is extremely important because people think that if you are a spiritual person or a healer of any kind, that you're not really caring so much about the physical. Well, it's actually the opposite. 100% the opposite. The more spiritual you are, the more enlightened you want to be, you actually really need to take care of that physical vessel because our soul is in this physical body.
Yeah, good
And
point.
what I learned is that if the physical body was not optimized, which it was not for me for a very long time, I was addicted to sugar. And as I'm sure you know, sugar can really mess with your brain chemistry.
Oh,
It
yeah,
can mess
just like
with your mood.
more than cocaine, right? Is what they've shown in
Ab
the studies. It's
Absolutely.
crazy.
Yes, yes. And so you're sometimes if you are not physically optimized, you think you are having these emotional problems or mood issues or brain chemistry issues. Well, you are, but as soon as you clean up your diet,
Yeah,
this is dramatically reduced.
very good point.
Absolutely, and you start to feel better and better. So, some of the things that I learned to do is, of course, my own spiritual work and my own mental, emotional work.
Mhm.
But I also optimized my physical body, and I did eliminate sugar, and I did, remove processed foods, and did a lot of exploring and continue to do, right? Because as women we're changing all the
All the
time.
time.
Yes, I mean, men change too, but, I
Not
think
as
our
much.
hormones are a little bit more prevalent, right?
Yes, but even within the day itself, the 24-hour period, how our hormones can fluctuate, but then, yeah, definitely the whole month cycle too, but yeah, very true.
Absolutely.
Mm,
Yes. So with that, I really started to study my own physiology and pay attention to, okay, if I eat this, how do I feel? If I eat that, how do I feel? People ask me all the time, what's the best diet? I'm like, what's the best diet for you?
for
Right.
you, 100%, and they
Right.
won't know until they kinda test it out and kind of really, check maybe a journal or something, or just really being in tune with your body so you know exactly what the food you're putting in is affecting you, your brain and your body.
Absolutely. And the thing is that it's not just the food. Now it's also about incorporating, oh, what thoughts am I having? And how do I feel after those thoughts? Who did I hang out with? And
Yes,
how did I feel after that?
good point.
For example, if you're wanting to be a person who doesn't drink alcohol, well, if you're going to bars all the time, that might be quite difficult, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You're the 5
Yeah.
people that you surround yourself by, so, yeah, if you're wanting to kinda change some of those habits, then, yeah, you don't have to necessarily completely block them out of your life unless it is toxic, but, yeah, maybe just shifting who you're hanging out with that more often and the frequency.
Absolutely, and so as a person who's here to serve as a healer, as a guide, what I had to do is, 1, make sure that my physical body is always in check, right? I'm always making sure that if I notice things changing, that I'm paying attention to them,
That's good.
and actually, attention is extremely important because in order for the body to heal, the body has to trust you. And the only way your body will trust you is if you actually pay attention to your body. It's just like a baby, right? If you have a baby and you just let your baby cry all day long, that baby is not going to trust you.
No.
And it's
Oh,
the same with your precious body vessel that you were given to do this life with.
that's a very
If
good
your
point.
body is crying, our body cries with our symptoms, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And if we just keep ignoring it and ignoring it, it's just gonna cry louder and louder, and it's going to also feel unsafe because
Yeah.
it's saying, "Oh, my human here, who I'm giving this wonderful body to live in, is ignoring me. Like, what
Yeah.
is going on?" So this creates a tremendous amount of stress in the body. You know, it raises our cortisol levels.
Oh, yeah.
You know, people always ask, "Oh, how do you justify that the thoughts, are affecting your physical health?" Well, we'll leave that to the neuroscientists because they have all the pathways for us, but it's very practical and it's very logical, right?
Oh, it
There is
is.
not Yes, there's not one action that you've taken in your life that did not start with a thought.
Mhm. So
Well,
true.
right? If you go to the gym, it's because you thought, "I'm going to the gym." If you go to a junk food store, you thought, "I'm going to go get that to eat." And if you go to the farmer's market and get wonderful organic fresh food, you also thought about that. So, the thought processes related to the physical healing of the body are actually very logical, very rational, and very practical. And that is why it should be every human being's mission to become best friends with their thoughts,
Mhm.
to learn the dance, to dance with your thoughts, to it's not like, for example, if you're dancing with somebody, right, you're not and they step on your toes and you're both learning, you're not gonna, like, tell them, "That's it, I'm not gonna dance with you."
Right, right.
You know? You're
Give
gonna
him
keep
the chance.
learning together
Yeah.
until you get the rhythm, and so, sometimes, although we are a whole as human beings and we're fully integrated mind, body, spirit, sometimes it is good to look at the different parts of the whole of who we are separately, because this gives us the ability to kind of divide and conquer, even though that sounds harsh, but it's I call it divide and befriend.
There you go.
So
Yeah,
that
that's
you
good.
make your thoughts, your emotions, and your physical body your allies
Mhm.
in life, right?
Yeah, that's good.
And how do we do that?
Yeah,
Well,
that's the thing. Yeah, well,
how do we do that?
and I think because what we were talking about before with the noise and everything being so just like bombarded with just like the negativity, toxicity, it's like we can't necessarily separate ourselves sometimes from these thoughts because we're just like immersed in it and we feel like, oh my goodness, they're just like having tell us to, in order to like how to like separate so we can like figure out what's happening so our body isn't getting so frustrated with us and more symptoms. I love that thing too, like the body is each symptom is the body trying to talk to us and it gets louder and louder and louder until it's like a worse symptom. So yeah, tell us how to do that, how to listen. Please.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we'll talk about some practical things, right? Um, we all have to set ourselves up to succeed. Nobody's gonna come and do it for us, as much as it would be nice if other people had the time to come and set us up for
I know,
success.
right?
No one has the time. Everyone's trying to do their own life, right? And feed their own children and take care of their own community and their elders and, doing their service in life. So, we have to use the practical tools that we all know of. And I think it's extraordinarily important how you start your day. The way you start your day sets the tone for your entire life, one day at a time.
Hmm.
And once the noise starts in the day, it's very hard to go back and remember, "Oh, I wanted to be a grateful person today," or "I wanted to be a more compassionate person today," or "I wanted to take some time for myself today." We have to do this in the beginning of the day. It's the sacred time of the day. It's just you, and if you believe in something, it's you and that divinity or that grace that you believe in. It's your time to commune with what is sacred, and so it's your time to remember who you really are.
You were created to be. Hmm.
Yes, who you were created to be, that's beautiful, and to really decide who you want to be,
Yes.
you know?
That's the
Every
thing.
day, yes, we get to choose, and we also get to choose who do I want to be to each person in my life? Who do I want to be to myself in my life? You don't have to be the same exact person to everyone in your life.
Nor should
Why?
you. Everybody's
Right.
different.
Yes, and this is where compassion comes in, right? If we say, "Well, this is just how I am, take it or leave it," there's something about radical self-acceptance, but then there's compassion.
Mhm. That's
And
good.
yes, and how we are must be compassionate if we want to remove chaos from our lives and if we want to live a physically, mentally, emotionally, and optimized spiritual life, because we must remember that every human being comes with their own history, with their own traumas, and if we truly want to serve, we must be compassionate, and there are some people that call this compassionate inquiry, right?
Okay.
Where can I be of service to each human being in my life? And this doesn't mean that we are doormats and we're abandoning ourselves and we're not being true to ourselves. It's from the core of who we know we truly are. We make a choice every morning of what's important to us on this day. What's important to our entire life and what's important to us this day. And how can we serve ourselves to be our best, and how can we serve others in the best way that would help them?
Mhm.
So
That's
this
good.
is very important. Yes, how can we serve others in the best way that would help them?
Yeah, and
So
go ahead.
mhm, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I like how you put that at the same time without being a doormat though too, or without sacrificing your own physical health and emotional well-being, because then, like we talked about before, that you're not gonna be able to help other people too, because there does need to be kind of some healthy boundaries in place too, but being that compassionate person that that person needs, with having some healthy boundaries.
Absolutely, and, I'll go back to the morning routine, but you said something really important, boundaries. Boundaries are extremely important. However, we do live in a society of boundaries, right? This is the I think in the last 5 years, you hear about boundaries all the
It's
time,
true.
and it's so important to have them, and it's extremely important that while we have the boundaries, we can still practice compassion. Because for most humans, most of us, me included, when we start to learn a boundary, especially if you have been a doormat your whole life, your boundary becomes very rigid,
Yeah, that's a good
very,
point.
very strong. And sometimes our family, our friends, our communities, they weren't expecting that, right?
True.
And there is a place for rigidity, but there's also a place for incorporating the boundaries in a gentle way where you are not suddenly having people interpret your boundaries as something against them, right? Like cutting
Good
people
point.
off,
Good
things
point.
like this. And
Mhm.
so there's a place to do this in a gentle way. And we human beings are extraordinary. We are brilliant. We have resilience. We have intelligence. We have intuition. And I always like to challenge us humans to up level how we incorporate our boundaries. Let's make sure that we say, okay, I'm incorporating the boundaries, but let me be strategic about this. This is why we have these extraordinary brains and these minds to think. Like, if I'm going to incorporate my boundaries and I'm just never going to see my family again, am I just going to cut them off and make them feel abandoned? Or can I start reducing little by little my exposure to certain toxic behavior
It's a good point.
and not harm anyone in the process?
Yeah, because it does all come down to love and compassion, like you were talking about, because we each are human beings and we are all flawed and imperfect, and but like having that coming from a place of love and compassion and not being judgmental, regardless of their viewpoint or what they're doing in their life. If maybe they're say if you want to get away from drinking, maybe you're judging them at that point for drinking. You're like, well, I can't be around you at all. But like you said, it's not having that boundary in a very harsh way, but it's just figure out a way where you can hang out with them at a different time, or like you said, just slowly not as much.
Absolutely, that's perfect. I love how you said that because, Yeah, and I think we humans are smart enough to do that, right? To just find the ways, and that is something where we challenge ourselves, and again, it's going back to being compassionate to ourselves and to others, but also being very, very confident and having a very strong will. If you that you want to live your best life, that you really do want to plant your seeds of goodness and of blessings and of kindness in this world, and also get all the blessings that you want because you were brought here to also get, not just give. We want to do both. We get and
Mhm.
we give, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
That's good.
yeah, so but going back to the morning, right? The morning is so
Yeah.
sacred. There's 9 things that I like people to do, but it's actually not a lot because it's 3-3-3.
Okay.
So, we talk about gratitude a lot. We all know how important it is to live in gratitude. However, I like to simplify things and keep them as short and precise as possible because, again, everyone's busy,
Yeah.
everyone's working, everyone's doing life. And so I start with 3 things of gratitude, any 3 things, not an entire notebook's worth. If
Yeah.
you've got one, great. And if
Yeah.
you have the time to spend a morning writing, that's fantastic as well. But most people don't. So I just tell them to think of 3 things they are grateful for and
That's
have
good.
3 intentions for their life, for themselves. If no one was judging, what would you want? What are those 3 things? And then the most important one are 3 intentions on how you can be of service to others today.
That's good.
How you how you can do something for someone that you may never get anything in return for, just to do the goodwill.
That's so good. And I love how you kind of before that, you preface that with your intentions for yourself, like, because you have to kind of do that for yourself and set yourself right. And like for your vision and your goals, doing that first. And then list out how you want to show up for other people in your life and your intentions for that. So yeah, that's beautiful. But then at the first starting with gratitude because you can't be anxious and grateful at the same time. It doesn't exist. So you can't it's opposing. So starting with gratitude first. So beautiful, Leah. And it like you said, it's so simple too. It's just the 3-3-3. So that's an incredible takeaway. And I hope that people will, write this down or, reverse and listen so they can implement that because that's an easy one to do. Like that probably only takes like 5 minutes, really.
Yes, and that is the key that, we need tools that are quick, right? We're living in a fast-paced life, and although it's great if you can to take the moments and slow down, this is wonderful, and sometimes you can't.
Exactly. Yeah. With traveling, getting on an airplane, whatever, or kids, things are busy and not to beat yourself up over that, but just maybe have a more simplified version 3-3-3. Like you can get this done. And if you have the luxury of more time, then maybe you do like the very lengthy gratitude list or things like that too. So that's good.
Yeah,
So good.
and the reason why we set the intentions as to what we are going to bring to the world is because if we come into the world with the intention of serving, we're signaling our consciousness, our mind, our body, our communities that we have a lot to give. And in the healing process, in the physical body's healing process, again, going back to the thoughts, if you start your day with the intention of, I've got something to give and I'm going to do it, and you actually do it, your body physiologically is coming from a place of fullness and abundance. And your body is realizing that, oh, it's not stressed because it can't be stressed if you're going out there and doing things for other people and you're being kind and compassionate. It can't do both at the same time.
That's right.
And this gives the body an opportunity to relax. Every time, you volunteer or you just even send someone a text with a nice thinking of you, I miss you, you know? It doesn't have to be that grandiose. It
Very
doesn't
true.
you don't yeah, you don't have to go win a Nobel Peace Prize. You can just do tiny acts of kindness throughout the day, and every time you do that, everyone gets a little hit of dopamine.
Hmm.
Everyone gets a little hit of serotonin, and everyone gets a little hit of love, which is extremely healing.
Yeah. And not in the fake dopamine way of the phone dopamine that we can get from, unfortunately, but it's a very natural how our body is supposed to, send and receive love. And like you said, it can be as simple as sending a text too. And sometimes people are like, well, I don't have hours to volunteer or do all these things. So, but it's just that it can be as simple as that. And I like how you said how you're actually priming your mind to do that and to think about that. Um, throughout your day, because things will pop up, and because you kind of like set that tone at the beginning of the day, so throughout the day your brain is ready to kind of think about those things and send that love out there.
Mhm. And throughout the day, in order for us to, continue the path of healing and the path of being at a high vibration mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, it's important to notice throughout the day when the thoughts or the negativity creeps up, right? As I sent you the 8 things you can remove to stop interfering with your healing.
Yes.
And yes, absolutely, we want to remove the physical toxins, we want to drink clean water, we want to remove the pesticides and the external hormones in foods and things like that. This is extremely important. But the one thing that's with you all day long, whether you're eating, showering, walking, working, is you, your thoughts, your mind. You're the only one that's always with you, and your thoughts are with you all day long. And so this is why I talk about the dance, dancing with your thoughts,
That's good.
befriending your thoughts.
That's
And
good.
so some of the thoughts that really interfere with the healing process are guilt. For example, many people, no one's perfect, right? We've all done stuff that we probably wish we wouldn't have done, said things we wish we wouldn't have said. But the guilt over the actions or the words or the, lifestyle is just poison, right? This is just poison. And so it's extraordinarily important to find the ways to forgive ourselves for any of the past shortcomings.
So good.
And this doesn't mean that we don't care. This doesn't, some people say, oh, well, you don't care if you, did something wrong. No, you do care. And what you do is you make sure you never do it again. And then the other thing is comparison and jealousy. This is really tough for people.
Oh boy, yeah.
And yes, it really blocks them, many people think that life is like there's one pie, all the flour was used, all the sugar was used, and all the blueberries were used.
That's a good way to think about it. Yeah, so people do think like that, like it's the scarcity mindset.
Absolutely, the scarcity mindset, and the thing is that there's always gonna be more flour and all kinds of flour,
It's true.
gluten-free, almond flour, coconut
Right?
flour,
So
all kinds of
true.
sweeteners, all kinds of fruit.
Yeah.
There's more and more, so
Yeah.
there's an abundance of everything. Now we're talking about buy, but there's an abundance of success, love, kindness, compassion, opportunities, relationships, and so the reason why this matters more than anything is that everything you do in your day is time and energy, and every thought you have takes up some of that time and energy from your day. And if at any moment a person is spending time in the judgment or the jealousy or the comparison of another human being,
Mhm.
all that happens is that at that moment, you literally stole energy, thought processes, and time from actually doing the good works and the blessing work that you're here to do in life.
So good, Leah.
It
That's
doesn't
inc
make any difference to the other person. They may never know.
Yeah, they may never know, and even if they do, like you said, it doesn't matter because all you're doing is robbing yourself of becoming who you should be and helping other people.
Yeah. And the thing is that when we are in jealousy or comparison, we're inauthentic.
Mm,
We
good
lose our
one.
authenticity. So
Good one.
yes, and being authentic is also very healing. And how can you be authentic if you're thinking about what somebody else is doing?
You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
And people
Every
can sniff that out too, like, if you're trying to be this other person, you're like, this is wrong. And then you're not going to resonate with people because then you're not being who you're supposed to be, who God gifted you to be.
Yes.
Oh boy.
And yes, and every time you're being inauthentic by, either you're imitating someone else or you're jealous of the other person or you're comparing yourself or you're criticizing someone else or judging someone else, at that moment, again, your body is like, "Oh, what's going on here? We're not getting to be us. I'm not free right now because my human is thinking all these thoughts about the neighbor. Like, what is she doing? What
Hello.
I'm healing." Yes. And
Yeah.
I like to make it fun like that, like to think like our body, and our mind, they're talking to each other and to think of our body as our partner, right?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
again, the baby, right? The baby will be like, "Oh, my mom is next door, being jealous of the neighbor versus feeding me,"
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
I love that. Like, it's a very simple analogy, but like the way that you kind of you put like some fun things on it too, and just makes it more realistic to think about. And it's sometimes we can just dissociate from our bodies, and it's like we're not tuning into who we're supposed to be. But I love how you put those analogies on that. So smart.
Yeah, those are like, trauma trances, right? They call this a trauma trance. Anytime you're triggered by something, whether
Yeah,
it angers you or it makes you jealous or makes you feel less than, it's, you can go into a trauma trance, but our job is to catch ourselves, right? Our job is to catch ourselves and say, my life is very sacred. It's very important. I'm here to do good works. I'm blessed to have a day to live. And I say to my mind, "No, sweetheart, we're not going there today."
that's so good because you're just
And
robbing yourself of who you're supposed to be and of the present day.
and you pull yourself back. You pull yourself back, but with so much love and compassion. So with all of the interfering to the healing, what is the solution? The solution is extreme radical self-acceptance. Radical self-love, but I
That's
always
good.
start with self-acceptance first because for some people, you tell them radical self-love and they've had such a hard life or are so used to criticizing themselves that they're like, "How the heck am I gonna love myself?"
I
Right?
can't do it. Yeah.
So we need to start with the acceptance and what does radical self-acceptance look like? Well,
Yeah.
now you know that, okay, if you spend your day being jealous of others, criticizing others, judging others, including yourself, right?
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
have to count ourselves in there. We can't
Definitely.
criticize ourselves and judge ourselves all day long and expect to feel well.
Yeah.
What we do throughout the day is catch ourselves doing these things. And when you catch yourself, you don't say, "Oh, there I go again doing this thing. I
Right.
can't get it right." No, you speak to yourself like a precious child. Like
That's good.
if you know of or have ever seen an extraordinarily loving, doting parent that just adores their child and forgives everything they do and spoils them and they can do no wrong, you treat yourself that way
Mhm.
as an adult. You're
Mhm.
going to be responsible, you're like, you don't have to worry about that you're actually going to spoil yourself and,
Yeah,
do
no,
all
it's
the
true.
wrong things. You're
Yeah.
going to be a responsible adult.
Mhm.
Life has already beat you up enough, so you don't need to beat yourself up, and when
Anymore.
anymore. Yes, that's the key. And when we are in the process of healing these thought processes and removing this interference, then when these thoughts that are toxic come in, the important thing is to say, "Okay, sweetheart, you don't wanna think that way anymore. You did it, but you're not let's not do that again." And
Exactly.
you just have to have that internal dialogue of comfort, of support, of positivity. You have to start doing that for yourself, as an adult, because as adults, we don't have too many people that are going to be the ones in our ear encouraging us, helping us be optimistic. We have to do this for ourselves every single day, and the more we do it for ourselves, we become less judgmental to others. Like, the less judgmental you are about yourself and the less self-critical you are, suddenly you are less critical of others because you realize, "Hey, they're on the journey too. They're just trying to do their life too, just like me."
All of us. Yes. It's so good. I love acknowledging that thought that comes through, and then every single time, like not beating yourself down, but kind of learning from it, and I kind of like to think of it like a muscle, right? Like you're training it and it's getting stronger and stronger, and you will notice these thoughts coming in. You'll be able to better train that muscle because it's stronger to have that just resilience to kind of keep moving through. And those thoughts will kind of keep coming back, but then each time they do, you're a little bit stronger and you kind of know what to do from there. But yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And actually, I love that you talked about, like, building that muscle because
Yeah.
I found that one of the tools to build your resilience is building muscle.
Hmm.
Yes, building your physical muscle, especially for women,
Definitely.
helps you build that emotional resilience and that grit.
So good. I love that
Yes,
word grit. It's one of my favorite
yeah.
words.
Oh, good, I
Grit.
love it too. Yes,
Yeah.
and we do need it, right? We
Yes, we
do need
do.
it as all humans need this, and it is easier for some humans than it is for other that's just a fact. It's not that it's unfair or anyone should focus on it, but it's just a fact, right?
Hmm.
Some things are easier for some than they are for others, so we each have to look at what are our strengths and where do we need to put the work in.
Exactly.
And building physical muscle really, really transforms how you see life, how you see yourself, how you believe in yourself, your confidence levels. One, because obviously if you built muscle, you had some discipline, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're
Right. So
strengthening that
you
discipline muscle every day, like, or however your schedule allows. But yeah, you're strengthening discipline. Like, I can do hard things. And each time you're faced against like an opposition, or you're like, no, I can actually do this. I know how.
yes. Yes. So it is important to again optimize the physical body and build physical muscle so that we can truly be our best in life at all times and do our best work. And throughout the day, as these things happen, life is happening, there's chaos happening, and again,
Yeah.
you want to radically accept yourself and whatever happens. And then we also can use literally physical tools, right?
Hmm.
To kind of shift the energy or shift the day or shift the focus, right?
Hmm.
If, you're working with a lot of people throughout the day or even just driving down the street and people are honking at you,
Yeah.
what we do with what comes at us every day can actually interfere with our healing, block our healing, or accelerate our healing. Because again, it's an opportunity to either interfere or even build strength in the healing process.
That's good.
So if we cannot control what other people do. We can only try to control what we do.
Exactly.
And so we have to have the physical tools as well. And as you know, movement heals, right?
Yeah, it really does.
Absolutely, yes. Movement heals, and it's a great way to break energy, break
Yeah.
a bad mood,
Right.
to break anger. If, you had an interaction with someone that said something awful to you, you could fight back at that moment, or you could take a moment
Hmm.
and leave
So good.
and go take a walk.
Yeah.
Or yes, or go, like many people that I work with in, doctors and their office buildings, I tell them, "Go to a stall, go to a bathroom stall and
Yeah.
do 10 squats,"
Yes.
you
So
know?
good.
Yes, do some jumping, anything to just get this out of your system, to
Love it.
change your focus for a moment.
Yeah.
And it's not, woo, and it's not really
No, it's not.
esoteric. It's actually physiological.
It is.
And when you move your body, you move the thought processes, you
Yeah.
move the energy.
Stuck energy. Yeah, so I was just gonna say that stuck energy kind of like flows, and it kind of gives your brain more oxygen so you can actually start to think more clear instead of reacting to what they just did. Now you're giving your body just a little bit of time to like process and reflect and then come back with a response if you need to.
Exactly. And for some people, they can take a pause and they can go take 10 deep breaths and things like that, which is really fantastic for those who can do it. But many people, taking a pause is really hard for them because taking a pause maybe to them means not expressing themselves.
Yeah.
And so the physical body for many people needs to move. Some people like meditation, right? Some
Mhm.
people do great with meditation. They're able to get into these beautiful, peaceful states. They can meditate for 20 minutes.
Mhm.
But I have found that many people that I've worked with have told me, "Oh, I get so frustrated when they tell me to just sit there and meditate because
Yeah.
I can't stop my mind."
Mhm.
And then it becomes a war, and then it becomes a thing where they feel like they're failing because they can't stop their mind while they're
Yeah.
meditating. And so
Yeah.
instead, I ask people to incorporate movement,
Good.
a moving meditation. And you can choose even when you do your workouts and your classes and your walks, this can be your prayer. This can be your meditation.
Love it.
It's just the focus and the intention behind everything we do.
That's what it
And
is. Mm.
yes, this embodied meditation, this embodied movement, this embodied thought processes, this embodied healing is very effective for many, many people because especially nowadays that most of us are sitting at a desk all day
Yeah.
long. And so to go and sit and meditate, I'm don't have anything against meditation. I love it. I do it myself at times,
Mhm.
the sitting meditation as well. However, I have found more rapid acceleration of healing and getting past something with movement versus the sitting.
I agree. Yeah, and it like you said, it does depend on each person and, maybe try both. And, for me too, I'm very similar to you, Leah. Like I go outside, I go on a walk, I, spend time with my dog on a walk outside and just being in nature in the fresh air, just it really does reinvigorate me and just kind of shifts that energy. It's incredible. So
Yeah.
good. Mm. So yes, so many tools then. So we have the morning, accepting our thoughts and movement, or responding to our thoughts in a positive way. Any other tools that you recommend kind of throughout the day?
Yes. One is, programming.
Okay.
Okay, so in our world, especially in the world that you and I are in
Yeah.
biohacking, longevity, health, wellness, we have so many tools, and the tools are fantastic. We are so lucky that we have technology, we have
Yeah.
vagus nerve stimulators. I mean, we've got all kinds of great things, red light therapy, and they're all fantastic, and work with a lot of people that are, like, tracking their sleep, right? You're
Mhm.
tracking your sleep and people get really frustrated when they
They
start
do.
tracking their sleep
Mhm.
because now, they only got an hour and a half of deep sleep
Yeah.
and their HRV is low.
Right.
And I will tell you that no matter how many devices you use, if you do not program yourself
Mhm.
and fully believe that this is going to work for you, you can have all the resources in the world. And sometimes
It's not gonna
the
do it.
needle just does not move.
That's good.
However, throughout the day, if you do have those devices and you literally say like, "Oh, okay, at 3 o'clock, I take my break and I do some humming or,
Yeah.
some red light therapy," but you literally believe this 100% and program your mind that this is going to work for you. This works for you exponentially well. And the
Much
proof
better. Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. The proof really is, with the sleep tracking. This is where I've seen it the most. When people do all of their sleep hygiene, but they actually program themselves and they say, this is very practical. I'm going to sleep. My mouth will be closed. My jaw will be relaxed. I'm getting, 2 hours of deep sleep. I'm getting 2 hours of REM.
That's
My
good.
HRV will be perfect. Just setting the intention, programming yourself. You're a machine,
It's
you know?
true.
We
And
are
our thoughts
machines.
our
Yes.
thoughts are that powerful too. It kind of goes back to the beginning of the day and like priming yourself to be ready to, send love and receive love. But then at the same thing, just for our own body and setting those intentions, like you're going to receive this and you are going to sleep. And that's really good. That's powerful, Leah.
Yeah, your thoughts, your mind, your brain is the power center. That's a control center of everything that is happening in your body. And, where people get a little bit frustrated and confused, again, going back to where people say, "Just be in tune with your heart." But sometimes your heart is hurting because of the thoughts you're having. Your heart can be very happy because of the thoughts you're having, and your heart can be very sad because of the thoughts that you're having.
Mhm.
And so our thoughts do create chemical reactions in the brain, and that creates emotions. And
Mhm.
those emotions incite us to take actions, right? Depending on how we feel. But we feel the way we feel because of something that happened and we thought something about it. And now we have the feeling. And then based on that feeling, we're either going to just act on it or maybe we incorporate the thought process again if it's not a good action to interfere with the bad action.
Exactly.
And then
Intercepting it.
we Yes, and then
Yeah,
we take the action based on how we feel, but how we feel happened because of what we thought before the feeling.
that's good.
And this is so, so simple, and when people understand this, they start to really pay attention to the thoughts that they have all day long,
That's the thing.
and
Yeah.
I ask people, "Please be very, very ambitious. Be very ambitious about your energy. Be very ambitious about having a very happy heart.
I love that.
Be very ambitious about having beautiful relationships
Mhm.
and feeling filled with love, compassion, and kindness. If you put your ambitions on how you feel, you will manage your thoughts and you will pay attention.
Mhm.
And each one of us has so much wisdom within us. If we just pay attention to the thoughts that we have every day, we can change so much.
Amen.
When we work with I just share, clients, patients with doctors,
Yeah.
sometimes these patients have all of the resources in the world,
Mhm.
and they're able to do and travel everywhere and do all of the treatments and get everything they need, but sometimes they can't heal.
Mhm.
And it isn't until we take a little bit of a dive into what the thinking is about what they're allowed to have.
That's good.
How healthy are they allowed to be?
Mhm.
That each person needs to decide that you are allowed to be fully, vibrantly healthy. You are allowed to have beautiful, loving relationships and be deeply fulfilled in your life.
Mhm.
But most people feel a little guilt about this.
Yeah. I was gonna say you're allowed to, but you deserve to. Like, and that's probably where the guilt comes in because we're like, "Well, I don't deserve that," but every single person does.
Every single person deserves it. And actually, the more you have mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, the more you're able to serve, the more you're
Mhm.
able to give.
Mhm.
One of my early teachers said to me, "You cannot suffer enough to take the suffering away from someone else."
That's right. That's good. It's a good way to think about it. No,
Yeah,
yeah. That's so true.
right. You
Mm.
cannot get sick enough to take someone else's illness away.
No, you can't. There's nothing
You
that but
cannot get stressed enough to take someone else's stress away. But what
No.
you can do, even when you're working with people, is the more you literally make it your passion to live your best life, to be as
Mhm.
healthy as you can be physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, then you can really be a vessel and help others do the same.
Because you're pouring out from a overflowing cup at that point because you've completely filled yourself up from what you need, and at that point, all of that abundance is overflowing to other people. Oh, beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
So good. I love the work that you do. So I just wanna make sure that we kind of went full circle on kind of like that full day. Was there any other, thing that we missed on kind of the full day of intention and
Yeah,
mindset?
the full day of intention. There are other tools, if somebody cannot get out and go do some movement, I like tapping. Tapping
Oh,
is
yeah.
We've all heard of tapping, but
It's
tapping
powerful.
is yeah, the Asian, medicine, Chinese medicine, they've been doing this forever. Like, they'll just tap their whole body. We've
Yeah.
taken it to a different level where we do tapping with certain thoughts,
Right.
but they literally just move the energy out of the body by
It's
tapping it.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
head to toe. So this is a very good tool to break up when there's stuff going on that you are making you feel angry, sad, It's not and again, it's not that we're neglecting the feelings, by the way. I want to make that very clear. we should acknowledge why we feel what we feel,
Good point.
and what triggers us, but not indulge in it.
Exactly. Not ruminate, not hold on to it, but let it flow
Yes.
through you.
Yes, because if you hold on to it, it's it's not the bite of the snake, it's the poison
Yes, that's right.
that lingers that will
Mm.
kill you, right?
Mhm.
There's going to be bites. This
Yeah.
is just the world, it's life, but it's if we hold on to it.
Yeah.
And if we can find ways to, again, these are actual physiological reactions, right, to our triggers as well. And this is why, whether it's tapping, jumping, moving your body, also very important, controlling all of your inputs. I work with
Yes.
a lot of
Good
doctors in
point.
cellular medicine, and the main thing they talk about is the inputs to the cells. And so we have to control our inputs, and the inputs are not just from what we are eating or the environment.
Yeah.
The inputs are, what are you allowing yourself to look at all of the time?
Good job. Yes. Exactly right. Yeah. Phones, shows, what you're listening to.
Yes. What are
Mm.
you Yes, yeah, exactly. Your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your senses. Are you listening to positive things throughout your day? So, that's another thing that I really recommend people do. Make sure that whatever you're listening to at the start of your day is something that feeds your soul. It's something
Amen.
that inspires you, that reminds you of the sacredness of this life, of the blessing that it is to be alive, and how lucky we are that we got one more day, right? One more day to give it a try, one more day to make a difference.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You bring a very good point, because when I was in London recently, interviewing all, amazing people just like you, we talked about, we have these incredible gadgets like you and I just talked about, and tools, and, nutrition, and all of these things and inputs, to kind of focus on longevity, adding more years to our life, right? Like, this is kind of really the whole essence of it. Like, we're just wanting to add more years, ideally inside that, like adding more life to those years, right? Not just like extend it to 120, but actually living within that time too. But what you hit on too is very important, because tomorrow is not promised. We are not guaranteed tomorrow. And that, I mean, it is a fact, even though some people say they aren't going to die. Like, it is a fact. We are not guaranteed tomorrow. So what I talked about with everybody, and I would love to know this from you as well, Lea, is, knowing that tomorrow is not promised. Lea, like, what do you want people to know from your heart? Like, what is the one truth, hope, words of wisdom that you want to be known for? Like, if today was the last, like, what is that message that you want to get out there?
That we are abundant human beings, and that you should give everything. Give everything you have. Give everything you have every day. What does everything mean? Give all of your love, all of the time. Give all of your kindness all of the time. Give all of your compassion to everyone, regardless of what your position is. Always choose kindness and compassion. It just takes a moment to be kind. It just takes a moment. Why? Because you can save somebody's life.
So true.
And you never know if, you're rude to someone who just lost someone they love, or you ran into someone and you said something crappy, or they came to say hi to you, but you ignored them. Maybe that's the day that they were really depressed.
Mm.
But if you just said one nice thing to them, it could have kept them around for one more day. And not that we're taking responsibility for others, but
Right.
we are responsible for ourselves and our contribution
Yeah.
to the world and what we do.
Yeah.
I don't believe in just saying, well, I can't be responsible for anyone else. It's not that we're fully responsible, but I do have a responsibility in how I treat others, in the words that I say to others, and whether or not I smile at people when I'm walking down the street.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
you might change someone's life just by smiling. And so these are the lessons that I feel have changed my life, is to come from a place of generosity, of how may I serve versus what's in it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Our society currently is very much about know your worth, know your worth. Great, know your worth, but please know everyone else's worth.
Yes, we don't know the baggage that they were carrying. Like you said, that person might have struggled with something. We don't know what it is, and we are responsible for our attitude and our action. Um, and like you said, like every kind of leading with compassion, irregardless of their beliefs or stances on certain things. There is so much toxicity around right now, but we're responsible for how we respond in love. Like I love that so much. So beautiful, Leah, and you are
Yes.
doing that, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so grateful that we connected. And I think when you come from a place of giving and generosity, I tell people just try it for a week and watch
Yeah.
your life change. Your life will change so much. You're not going to lose anything. People are afraid of losing. You only lose when you hold on too tight because you can only hold on really tight for so long, right? Before your grip is
Mm,
just going to be like, okay, guys, like
can't do
when
it.
do we get to let go? And
Yeah.
everything that we receive the blessings that we get to give. There are extraordinary humans in the world today. We don't know what everyone does in their private life. People tend to criticize a lot of people, especially in the public eye. Well, you don't really know what they're going to through. You don't know how much they give or if they give. And I can tell you that I know tremendous people that are always giving. And they're not advertising it, and nothing wrong with advertising it, by the way, because when you help someone, whether you advertise it or not, that person got the help, and they could care less whether or not you advertised it. That's
That's a good point. Yeah,
because
yeah.
people like to criticize the people, like, on social media, "Oh, you're doing good deeds, but you're showing it." Well, the person that got the help, I think they're okay with that. But
Mhm.
but the point is, let's move through our life assuming the best in people
Amen.
and
So
being the
good.
best we can be.
Yeah, for yourself so you can continue to pour out to other people, and that's what you're doing, Leah. So
Mm.
Oh, wow. You are incredible. Is there anything else we missed for that whole day focused, that I wanna make sure if we
I
missed
think
anything?
that, that's it, start your
Yeah.
day with who you want to be, and throughout the day, just, keep yourself in check gently, lovingly, with radical self-acceptance, and then if you get to the end of the day, consider yourself very lucky. Not everyone got there.
Amen. It is a true blessing. Oh, you are so incredible. I'm just so grateful for our time that we were, able to be connected first in Austin and just now today. So I can just continue to, like I said, like kind of spotlight you because you were doing incredible work in the world. So I know we are going to link and how people can also get the 8 things to let go of to accelerate healing and elevate your life. Well, so it's a freebie. You just need to enter your email and then they receive it. Correct, Leah?
That's it, yep.
Yeah, yeah. And then if I are you do you work with clients currently? Or if they wanna learn more, what should they do, Leah?
Yeah, the best thing is for, them to follow me on social media. I put a lot of my content there now. My private practice got very, very full. And so it's a while before I can take on new clients. But I decided a year ago that I would share everything that I share with my private clients on social media so that everyone can, benefit if they incorporate some of the tools that I've been blessed to receive and now have the privilege of sharing.
Oh, that is like what a blessing and gift that is to so many. And like you said, like when we pour out, like we're just continuing to spread that love, and it's going to be that seed, that trickle effect, and never know what that person might need. So thank you for doing that. I know that's a lot of work to put content out there, and just blessings and abundance and energy to you as you continue to give, pour out from your amazing soul. So you're incredible.
Thank you, Carrie, and I wanna say the same to you. You're a beautiful soul, and you're doing this podcast. You're bringing so much light to the world, and I know you put your content out there as well. And that is a way, that we get to serve and we get to give back because you can't always do one-on-ones, right?
That's
And
right.
so this is a blessing, and I'll finish with this. People think social media is bad and toxic, but actually it's how you use it, and we get to
Yes.
use it as a tool to share and to serve, and let's all use it as a tool to share and serve and make one life at a time better, making the world a better healed place.
Amen. Very, very, very good point. And at that same point too, making sure maybe curate your feed if there is toxicity on there. Like you don't need to follow that. Like unmute it or unfollow, mute, whatever you need to do. Because yeah, what you put in it's you got to protect that. So
Yes.
oh, there is
That's
so
great
much
advice.
beauty and light out there in social media as well. So it doesn't have to be horrible. Oh my goodness. Well, remind people your Instagram account and just anything else that we want to make sure that people can do to follow you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my Instagram account is Lea Llovio. That's my name, which will be on the show notes. And that is my handle pretty much everywhere. My website is the same. And if you want to come and hear me speak at any of my upcoming conferences, they're always listed there under my links. And you can also always DM me. I'm happy to answer questions, especially if you need a little bit of encouragement or love. I'm more than happy to share some love and encouragement anytime.
Oh, yeah, she is incredible, and she is a real deal, you guys. So it's not a show. Like that's who she is. Her heart and soul is put into every single thing that she does. So make sure to follow her because she is just love and light in the world. And she does get to speak at these incredible places. And yeah, if you're able to meet her in person, that would be great. And I'm just grateful for you, Lea, just for showing up today so fully. And we'll make sure to link your free guide and to the people following. And don't forget to share this with a friend who needs to hear it because this is how we grow together. See you next time in the Life Lounge.